We're going live now, Jackie.
All right, so that's there. I think we're live. I think we're live. I'll record it also. We'll cover all the bases.
We're
We're
live.
here to cover all the bases. Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Simon Dove. I am super excited to be here. An amazing chiropractor speaker who's no stranger to the Mile High stage. So I want to take a minute and slow down. I'm a little excited. I'm going to take a minute, slow down. So this particular speaker is not only involved in chiropractic, creating chiropractic techniques, international speaker of said chiropractic techniques, and just a lover of chiropractic, speaking to chiropractors regardless of your technique. One of his gifts that I certainly appreciate is he's not a technique specific kind of guy. If he's going to help take you to the next level, it does not matter the technique. But he did create a chiropractic technique as well as network spinal analysis, or network spinal as it's called now, as well as some other amazing healing techniques such as alchemy, epienergetics. You're going to have to talk to him, meet him, and go to the websites. We don't have time to cover the breadth and width of this man's techniques. He's been on different boards of chiropractic, boards outside of chiropractic. He is a shaker and a mover, and it is with great pleasure that I'm here to introduce you to Donnie Epstein. Donnie, welcome, buddy.
It's great to be here. And Simon, it's wonderful that you're participating in a way to help support Mile High and support the people there. People at Mile High know that whenever they need something, you're there. And you
Oh, thanks,
ring,
buddy.
ring the bell, get back in the class. We'll
That's
get
right.
people in the hallway, right?
That's right. More cowbell, more cowbell. So, Donnie, you, like I said, you've spoken to Mile High. Each time it gets richer, each time it gets better. And you, as a person, in my experience, getting to take workshops with you, learn from you, but even as a chiropractor and a fellow chiropractor, you're always upping the game. You figure something out, you take it to the next level. So, yes, you've spoken to Mile High audiences before, but now you're taking it to another level. Is there anything right now that is calling to you to share once you get to Mile High, to the Mile High audience?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I ask those things every moment. Okay. Um, I recently gave a talk to the Life West graduating class, and Dr. Von Oberstein's been asked me to do it for a while. We were able to make it happen. And as we're going up on the podium, he said, "You where are your notes?" I don't have them. He said, "You want to talk about it?" I said, "No, I don't." He and Peter Kevorkian look at each other, and Peter says, "Well, you know what you're going to talk about?" "No." "What are your notes?" I said, "It's in the information field with people there.
Hmm.
Your tongue was needed. When your desire to serve is strong enough, really a commitment, not from the mind,
Hmm.
the innate connection of the people, the communication just happens. It's
Hmm. Hmm.
something takes effort. If you have to work on it, you're out of sync because
Yeah.
it's instantaneous and effortless.
Hmm.
So, what I'd like to speak on stage about is something that's been really important to me. In 1980s, I was reading Ken Wilber, one of the greatest spiritual writers, and you impersonated him at a program there.
That was fun.
Okay. One of the great spiritual writers and geniuses, probably of centuries, where he took every philosophy, every model that's come out in the world, and realized that consciousness comes to four different quadrants, and that a holon is a particle of reality. I really was important. When I moved to Colorado, he happened to be my next door neighbor. I met him for the first time, and I said, "Hi, Ken." I was taking his trash out. I said, "I'd like to meet you." And he pulled back his jacket. It was a cool day. His jacket pocket said, "I'm on silent retreat." I said, "That's okay, Ken. I'll talk." Okay. So we connected, but I've been following his work, very complex, but at the core of all my models, from my network chiropractic, network spinal analysis, 12 stage of healing, alchemy, all the different models of reorganizational healing, it involved a basic core concept that he has that I've simplified for people. And it's really for all chiropractors to know, to really know, helps you understand um, the different variants in chiropractic, how you see things. It's like the blind man and the elephant. One person says a trunk, Another person says it's a ear, another leg. And the profession looks different parts rather than the whole thing. And it's a simple thing there. And we'll talk about that further, but briefly, there's four quadrants. The right side represents the objective thing that can be seen or measured. The left side is your subjective experience. The only way you know that is by interacting. So on the right side, you may see somebody sleeping. On the left side, are they resting? You may see what person ate a meal, but are they satiated? And it's really important. And the top part is singular, the bottom is plural. So what does that mean? So a chiropractic just looks at a vertebral subluxation and it on the right side, where the mechanics and surface EMG, all different things may examine something of the it. What is it that can be measured? That's great. But we don't know what the experience of that it is for the person. Okay. That singular, I experienced this. You give an adjustment. Wow, the reading changed, the legs balanced, this happened, all different changes. Great. That's great. We see that. But that's not the person. That's not their experience. They're coming to actually have a new experience if it connects with their intelligence. Okay, whether they know it or not, that's what we're asking for. But does the technique really produce that? Is it happening? Are you looking at that? Okay. Now, as you get down to the bottom, this is where my introduction to the chiropractic profession came about. I've been studying systems theory for like almost 4 decades, about 4 decades. And it's how do the parts interact? So if I'm adjusting vertebral subluxation, looking at subsystems, the spine, the passive active control, and the emotional, all the systems that create spinal neural integrity. I said, what creates spinal neural integrity? Rather than trying to treat a condition which occurs with the loss of spinal integrity, how do I enhance spinal integrity? And that's the systems approach. Went to chiropractic college. It's really important whether you do upper cervical, Gunstead, SOT, Logan based, no matter what method you use. We were asked, you're adjusting here, what do you expect to happen in the rest of the system? We looked major, minor subluxations, those type of concepts, not taught anymore. But if you did one thing, tipping a domino, what do you expect? I introduced the systems approach. It's not just one part, it's a system. And it's order priority of the tonal changes in that. And that's a system. Now, that's great, but it doesn't tell me more about the person. You see, all professions and schools teach you about how to create the intervention to improve health or to treat disease. But ultimately, disease or illness is about the person, okay? When a person has a disease or symptom, it shows up in the body. It's always when there's a conflict in relationships or intimacy or business or finance or how they view themselves or conflict in identity. That's what's actually impacted upon it. It's really interesting. So the assumption is if we adjust the subluxation, we'll get a change on the left side. Now, this is a big one. Everyone listen up on that. This is a big one. And those who know me will understand the modus operandi for this crazy guy here. So when people started reporting that, gee, I felt more spiritual, I felt this, and things that showed up in our retrospective study, some state boards said, no, that's psychology, it's not chiropractic. People talk about that. All right. Well, the lower left side, it's subjective and it's the culture. Everything is about the culture and the why of the culture. When I have a gate, it's to create the cultural change. Chiropractic today for a better world tomorrow. Is a better world just the people or how they're interacting? So if you know the areas on the lower right side, you may have of the graph, you may have a Margaret Mead showing a tribal dance and talking about it. On the left side of Joseph Campbell talking about the meaning of it.
Right.
That's the big idea. All else follows is really a lower left quadrant. It's a cultural concept that we draw. A particle of reality called the holon exists first. In order for it to pop into reality from the implicit or the unseen, you need to have 4 quadrants. You must have what is it, what are the its, what's individual human experience, what's a collective human experience. My goal always was to help create a new cultural shift through a person having greater spinal neural integrity, uh, and able to self-regulate subluxation, but while doing it, something else.
Hmm.
We think the purpose of chiropractic was to adjust the subluxation. Never was the purpose of chiropractic. It was never stated as the purpose of chiropractic. That's a strategy to achieve it. The question is your strategy the best strategy to achieve the objective in today's world?
Hmm.
We're going to talk about that. And chiropractic is a tool for that. But does adjustment of subluxation mean a person's going to have extraordinary change in health, physically, mentally, socially, spiritually? Well, sometimes. I want it to be all the time.
Hmm.
And that's what we're looking at this type of way. What questions do you ask people? How do you feel? How do you feel about how you feel? So,
So are you saying it sounds like what you're alluding to, and this is big, and it's going to be quite a big a talk for Mile High. You're using the four quadrant system of Ken Wilber, but you're mapping it on through the looking at it through a chiropractic lens. And
yes.
it sounds like what I'm seeing as far as great value for listeners as here and at Mile High would be that one of the four quadrants is that familiar, safe little area of technique and how to approach the technique. But until you start to be able to navigate into these other four quadrants, you are almost limiting yourself from having good results to having optimal, amazing
Yeah.
results.
And all of it really is about the triune life, which goes back to that there's intelligent force in matter, and that the basic principle of chiropractic, if I can make it really summarize it, there's a subset of the organizing wisdom of everything, which humans have, and there's a subset of that that you have, your personalized aspect of that.
Mm,
It's the signal that attracts you in the world and connects you, the
mm,
manifestation and the creation principle. It's called the mental impulse.
right.
So the way the mental impulse, and not nerve impulse, or mental impulse, okay, and the mental impulse codes the system, and through innate intelligence, I believe it's 6 different intelligence, and if they map the mathematical signatures of them, we have that from surface EMG, and people have gotten a PhDs, a master's degree studying the unique signal of a person's nervous system based upon network, which was with the wave. Now, that gave me the information how to see things differently. But it's the same basic principle. How is a signal, innate signal you're born for, meant to organize in the world? How
Mm,
does it do things? And to do it, you have to have mental impulse expression. And mental impulse comes with just two things: information potential and information manifested uniquely for your body.
mm.
Information manifested is the objective of chiropractic care, to manifest the information in alignment with your true identity. That's what it's about. That's what took me on my path in chiropractic and out of chiropractic. Out of chiropractic, which is not this about, but just to give a sense of this. And I shared this with Chris Kent and Matt McCoy, and they're really excited about it. What if the mental impulse is not just about organizing cells of your body? What about organizing aspect of your life and existence?
Your life. Wow.
Now, as then, if that's the case, uh, if you apply your chiropractic care that way, you have to start seeing is it affected all four quadrants. Now,
Mm,
not only do this starts with what you, this continues with what you started with. Not only must you have those four quadrants, but they keep getting greater depth. If they
wow.
don't get greater depth, it becomes a fad and fades out. Because D.D. Palmer said everything is moving in a world of progression. Everything is becoming something else. And another dimension already is something else. The mental impulse does not live in this time space dimension. And we talk about that. So this impacted my chiropractic techniques, the questions we ask people, how we take a look at things. And I really came down in my epienergetics as the conscious and ecological use of energy information to produce extraordinary. And every thought, every action, everything, whether your health, your finances, your business, your relationship, everything you could think about, the key factor is you observe and thinking about it. So if you, when you think of money, if money is accessed with a low level of energy information, you're not going to manifest it. So I am moving my epienergetics model, which affects physical, emotional, social, all areas, into a new discipline, which I'm actually creating. There's some papers coming out on that soon. And it's the energetics of human performance.
Mm.
wellness is over. It's dead. Most people think a marijuana thing is wellness. I was one of the first people to speak about self-reported health and wellness in the papers in the 90s. And I realized that's over because everyone says, you have a facelift, that's wellness. Okay, there, whatever it is, massage. And wellness to most people is feeling comfortable. Feeling comfortable is not well.
Right.
Okay. So it's really energetic human performance. If we position chiropractic as a healthcare system for the energetic human performance, we're totally consistent with the principles. Now the conversation occurs, the chiropractic care you give affects your relationship, intimacy, things. The largest study done like 30 years ago on men who are from back pain and disability.
Mm-hmm.
Number one thing they found that predicted it wasn't when it found an x-ray or any of the examinations. It was dissatisfaction at work or money problems.
Mm.
Actually, when you take a look at from the epigenetics, and I believe epigenetics is what provides the energy for epigenetics, what happens is I see in all areas, the four domains of life, health and body sense, they're two different things. Relational intimacy, they're two different things. Business finance are two different things. And it's still you seeing the world. The way you see the world, the thoughts you grab, what you do is energy dependent. Less energy, lower thoughts, the body goes to survival. More energy, you start taking chances, and it moves up. And I have over the years taken a look at the different subsets of innate intelligence, how they organize energy and information, and higher levels of consciousness. So when we look at the subluxation definition by the Australian Spinal Research Foundation, which I was instrumental in helping influence, and Denny was helping influence, and Peter Kevorkian was there. There's a whole bunch of different people were there, with different techniques. They were trying to get a definition of subluxation as a joint dysfunction, as was being pushed through New Zealand school, which I think was not authentic anyway, whatever it is. And the Rubicon schools were trying to get that together. So Jerry Glum got a conference, different places of different leaders in the profession to try to come to agreement on subluxation as a joint dysfunction with neurological stuff. The challenge with that, it puts into manipulative therapy and it go diagnostic. So my suggestion was let's not have chiropractors define subluxation. Let's not do that. And especially not political chiropractors there. Let's instead say, as chiropractors here, what changes gets us excited, the patient's most excited. And when they're adjusted, before they're adjusted, look at that. So the definition came up with a loss of beingness first. Second, a loss of coherence. And third, biomechanical, neurological, adaptive genic changes. So if you change that, your outcomes need to be different. Is the care really producing a change in beingness or not? Is it measuring coherence? And what is coherence? That's been the mathematical modeling I've done for 3 decades, the highest level of neurological coherence seen. And then when you see something at a high level, you interact with people, you get different answers than people at a low level. Ask someone who's depressed and miserable what life is about. It'll be told me somebody who's really rocking it there. So all these things come to place because chiropractic, when I got into at that time, was really with Renaissance movements. He was Easy Riekman then, Guy Riekman, and Joe Felicia. They introduced the human potential movement in chiropractic with Magical Child and other things. And people would come for 4 reasons, according to a chart I used to read. Hello, my name is Donald Epstein. My degree is DC, Doctor of Chiropractic. And I practice that form of chiropractic known as straight chiropractic. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. And people come for 4 reasons. This is important. People come for 4 reasons. 1, they have a sickness, pain, disease, and infirmity, and someone told them a chiropractic helped them with that. The second is people want to prevent the sickness, pain, disease, and infirmity, and that's a higher level of promise and desire. The third level is because they want to improve themselves. And the fourth level, they want to improve the world. There was a person implying that was it. And I would give a talk. I was new in practice for a couple of years, and I was saying, who's are coming because they want to improve the world? Like, really? And then I said, wow, I want to know what the spinal nervous system is like for those people who want to get rid of something as compared to someone who prevents something. But both has the same criteria. They want to move away from something, it's fear, and they're still in survival. So to improve the self, they have to have higher cortical activity, better awareness of the sense of self, of their identity, high level of consciousness to do that. I wonder how that spine inertia is different. And then to improve the world, wow, they have to everything else. That's like graduate school for that.
Mm.
And I said, not only going to find out, I'm going to find the ways of identifying the difference in that by how much energy information is expressed. And that was really the basis of everything that happened in the world. I'm going to also give and my talk, CE talk, Saturday night. And then I'm going to, earlier on Saturday, I'm going to have also CE approved class, which is questions, talk, and clinical stuff.
Oh, great.
Whatever
Will
shows.
will you do hands-on a little bit this year?
Lisa hands-on, also demonstrating stuff like that. We'll have that there, also demonstrating some things there. And then on Sunday, I have a course I've done before. People have raved about it. No matter what method of chiropractic you have, no matter how you practice, what's your technique, it can help you. Okay.
That's amazing.
Technique is at the leading edge. Where would I take that?
Right.
But the ladder is always most crowded at the bottom. Okay, understand that. And the higher you go up, and the more you want to have greater depth of human experience, the more you bang yourself on the head, like, how do I get this change, and go look further. I'm the one who's leading that, so you just have to follow it.
Well said.
On that Sunday event, it's all the questions about science, art, and philosophy. You construct a map, an actual map of what's most important in your practice, a diagram. Say subluxation. Okay, well, then where is healing? I don't have it. Okay. Or, well, my technique is there, emotional palpation. That's great. Well, where's the patient? You see, in systems theory, there are three elements. One is the part. Two is how they interact. Okay, that's the right side. And three is the mission or purpose of the system. I was asked if I consult with a CEO of a major groundbreaking multi-billion-dollar company in e-commerce. And it's before you see him, and it didn't work. I didn't see him, but I have to read 3 books on systems theory for corporations. So last year was different spiritual traditions. We speak with them. And the summary of these books, very simple. And one basic thing to summarize them all. There are 3 parts of a system: the parts, how they interact, and the purpose or mission, the big idea of the system. Okay. If you change the parts, nothing happens in the system. This will not change. You fire somebody, someone comes with the same culture, lower left. Okay, there. It just doesn't replace it. If you change where they interact, the nervous system, some of the parts change. Get that? If you change where the parts interact, nervous system, and that's the lower right quadrant, how the systems work. If you change the purpose of the system, it all changes. So we have to move, I believe. I invite people to move from looking at the strategy of how they adjust and get into what purpose of the system would make you upscale everything and bring a different type of patient in who's looking for that.
Wow.
And one other quick thing, I am giving I gotta say it here, and Denny said I should mention it there. That I am in August at Sherman College co-sponsoring a program, The Gap, filling the gap between chiropractic technique and extraordinary reasonable healing.
I was just going to mention that. It's first of all, thank you. I'm as usual when I'm listening to you or talking to you, my mind feels amazingly stretched in a positive way. So you mentioned the gap, and that's what I wanted to mention to everyone listening. So here's the good news, and here's the challenge of the news. The good news is there's more to learn. Yes, we went to school, but there is more to learn. The challenging part is there's more to learn. And Donnie, you do a great job of kind of leading that charge, of showing us where there are gaps and how to manage the gap, and not how to just get amazing results, but get optimal strategies to get those results.
Well, if you want to make it about the person, if you're talking about healing and change in the world, is it happening? And they look at the adjustment, I'm done. That's it. A good adjustment happened. How is the person physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? How they adapted? How they more compassionate? What's happening in the world? Right. No one goes to school to heal. A chiropractor says this is a healing profession. Then tell me what class you return what healing is.
Right.
Regulatory agencies don't regulate healing. They don't know about it. They never learned it. They measure a series of strategies used to do something in a different way that other professions don't do.
Mm.
The point is, people don't give a damn what the surface EMG says or the X-ray says or stuff. They don't care what the laboratory test says or blood pressure is, unless someone tells them what it means for them.
Right.
What they care about is the concern, and they have a concern in life, and the concern is part of being ill. Okay, this illness is where you take a dog to a vet because SJAR, spot just ain't right. You take a kid to the pediatrician whether they have a fever or not because their behavior is off, their action, the sense of humor, things are off. It's always about the person. How do you chiropractors have used their technique as a means of avoiding intimacy? Yet chiropractic is the most intimate profession there because you know so much about the person. But you know about spinal nerve. What about is it impacting healing? How do you define healing? How do you know? Because that's what they want to know. So this program is how do you have unreasonable extraordinary hearing? You have to change the science and the philosophy and the art to match that.
Right.
That's what we have to do. We have to actually be able to match that. And that's not happening.
No.
Now, it happens occasionally. It's said, wow, this person turned their life around. Why shouldn't it happen every single time? If innate is innate, my first chiropractic seminar was about two things, two types of subluxations, which we're going to teach there. No matter what technique you do, how to be more effective, what makes techniques work, why do they not work, what best assessments you use. And no matter what your technique, I will show you more about chiropractic than you ever learned, about healing you ever learned, the energetics of it, so you can apply it. If you never do network, I don't care that it's not going to affect my life there. And my objective was not for ever to do network. My objective is to teach people how chiropractic intervenes in the system in the same place we experience the world, we interpret the world, we respond to the world, and we put our signal out to the world. And let's upgrade it in that way so people can have that. You could be the chiropractor, the healer's healer. Yes, with network you can. That's a higher level, but I want people to know things that are no longer taught any place. And things I used to teach, but I don't teach because so much other stuff to teach there.
Right. Oh, Donnie, thank you so much. I'm so excited. First of all, thank you again for joining us today. I'm so excited to see you at Mile High. And please, listeners out there, if you have not registered, we're talking about Mile High 13. Can you believe, Donnie, 13? Mile High 13 is coming up September 25th to 28th. If you have not registered, do so now. It does fill up. And you can register at milehighchiro.org. So I suggest you get that. And you want to stay at the hotel. That's all in the registration process. That will fill up. So for sure, register and get your hotel room. Donnie, any parting words for everybody?
I want to say about Mile High, okay, what Danny and Michelle have done is really deliver on the message, which my original intention is. If it is innate and it's intelligent, you don't have to convince somebody there's something organizing your life and organizing your body there, number one. And it's inclusive. Chiropractic's difficulty with that. It's inclusive. I asked the question, I said every technique works sometimes. Okay. It's all right sometimes. We practice a technique, which is another way of not. Techniques are all ceremonious preparation for change. That's what they all are. Okay. No matter how you do it. And the technique is really important. The question is, what is its objective? What is it delivering on? And from the chiropractic philosophy, what's the highest thing you could ever ask for a patient result? And why not make that there? So the inclusion of people who love the principle of chiropractic, those people more the arts, some more the science or the philosophy, it's a gathering of that. And rather than just a hype session, rah-rah, where you go feel good about stuff, you get really good content. Everyone speaks about the person. It's person-centered. And that's really, really, really powerful.
Most definitely.
And it's a movement to also help chiropractors politically to be able to represent what chiropractic has been and what it can be, not technique-wise, but in the way it serves people on the planet. And they've been extraordinary at that. I marvel at it. And if I was not family, this would be one must for me every year. Right. Usually I'm there, but I'm taking care of people there, I'm doing all the stuff there. But every speaker is just extraordinary. And I haven't
Yeah.
seen that because it's not coming from the polarity that's there. And it's not coming to, I have to prove something to you. This is the gifts I bring. This is what it is. And this had helped people, science, art, and philosophy, all in one program. And I haven't really seen that. Early Parker seminars, I saw that,
Mm,
1970s, with the spirit of that. That's where all the non-osseous techniques really got developed through Parker seminars when I
mm,
was in school. And and Parker was saying the chiropractic's first spiritual healing, everything is second. That's but
that's
the
right.
person. So it is a reorganization, evolution of that principle there
Mm,
and that way. So I
yeah.
suggest if what I'm saying is important to you, you're hearing this, try on a Mile High for size
There
and
you go.
get the talks and check it out. I know you'll be back.
Yeah. Well said, Donnie. Danny and Rochelle truly have created a home for a chiropractic, regardless of your technique. And I can't wait to see you there and all the great speakers this year. Donnie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Love you and looking forward to seeing you, buddy.
Same, thank you. How was that?